guys, Anime Prince here, and I'm back with another what if. What if Asta was in Uchiha Part 1? Get this video to 20 likes if you want to see Part 2. Like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get straight to this what if. This what if starts with two babies in the front of a doorstep of a church. And these two babies are Asta and Yuno. Asta and Yuno would be crying because it would be kind of chilly outside, and the old man, the priest, would hear them. He would bring them inside and say, "Oh, I wonder where you two came from. Oh well, you guys will be staying with me, I guess, until you guys are older. Oh well." The old man will see that the baby with black hair would have a pendant next to him. And guys, in this one, Asta would have black hair because he's in Uchiha. He'll have black eyes, so yeah. And he'll be much taller. So, and he'll see the other one would have a note that says to Asta, and then the other one says, so the other one would say Asta Uchiha, and the other one would say just, So the old man, the priest, would think that they're related, but until he seen the name, he said, "Oh, so you guys aren't related." And the priest would think, Uchiha, but can that be those two nobles, the strongest nobles that ever lived that died? Can he be related to them? Can he? The old man, because the Uchiha family would be one of the strongest noble families in the whole Clover Kingdom, and the priest would take that to mind, and he will leave the note for Asta until he's old enough to read it. Until he's old enough to read the note, and Asta would, and yeah. So Asta would be while Asta growing up, Asta would be a cool, calm, and a prodigy. He would be a prodigy amongst all prodigy. He'll be a generational prodigy. So Asta will be growing up, and it will be the same, just like in canon and stuff. While Asta is doing something, the priest, when he's about 5 years old, the priest will think that Asta is old enough too. No, not yet. So when Asta and are playing around, Asta will show that he's really, really strong, and he showed that he's really strong, and that he has a lot of strength for a little kid as a 5-year-old. And so when Asta doesn't like Princess Lily like that in this one. So yeah, if you guys want to give Asta a ship, just write it. So comment down what the ship should be. So yeah. So when the priest sends down to go down to the next village to ask for food supply for the next winter, while is going down there, it's taking longer than usual, and the drunk dude sees neck pendant and says, "I wonder how much I can get off of that. I can probably get a lot of money for that." And the drunk man would push onto the ground and take the necklace, the pendant from and said, "Huh, don't you do anything stupid, kid." And will try to use his wind magic, but the drunk man says, "If you do that, that gives me a reason to attack back, and that wouldn't be smart for you to attack back." And doesn't do anything because he's scared. And Asta would think to himself, why is he taking so long? So Asta would go out, and while he would go full speed to see what's going on. And at this age, Asta's pretty fast. And so when Asta gets there, he sees Yuno on the ground, and he says, "What do you think you're doing to Yuno? Give Yuno's pendant back." So Asta, Asta would see Yuno crying, and out of pure rage, he would awaken the one Tomoe Sharingan. So, so Asta's speed has gone up to about tenfold, and he's really strong, and his physical strength has gone up too. So when Asta delivers a punch to the drunk man, he completely knocks him out. The drunk man is knocked out, and Asta gets Yuno's pendant back and says, "Are you okay, Yuno?" Yuno says, "Yeah, I'm okay, thanks to you. Thanks." And Yuno says, "On this day, I will never cry again. And you won't be saving me anymore. I'll be saving myself. I'll be protecting myself. I won't need you to be saving me." Well, thanks, so, yeah. Well, they both get back to the church, and Sister Lily fixes up the bruises that Yuno got from falling down to the floor. And Sister Lily congratulates Asta for saving Yuno from getting attacked by the drunk man. And next day forward, Asta and Yuno are training, and Asta realizes what that power he used yesterday, that his eyes sort of gotten a 10 times increase from what he used the other day. He thought to himself, my eyes, when I fought the old dude, when he tried to land a punch on me, I can see clearly, and my speed went really fast. I wonder what that was. So Asta thinks to himself, he says, so all I did when I seen Yuno on the ground crying, my eyes sort of switched, and I could have sworn I seen a reflection. And Yuno told Asta about his eyes being red and black tomoes being inside of his eye, one on each side. And Asta says, so can this be my magic or something? Is this even magic at all? So Asta would try to concentrate he'll try to concentrate and put, and this one Asta would have chakra, not magic. So yeah. So when Asta tries to unlock that Sharingan again, he tries to do it for an hour straight until he gets it. He put chakra into his eyes, which took him an hour. He looks into the mirror and says, I've got it now. All I need to do is just train with this and keep activating it and learn how to see if I can improve it. So Asta's getting stronger and stronger with his Sharingan, and a 2-year time skip, Asta has already been able to get his Sharingan to a 3 Tomoe Sharingan. So yeah, so when Asta's 7 years old, he's already mastered the 3 Tomoe Sharingan. He got the 2 Tomoe Sharingan a year ago, for when he was 6 years old. So when he was 7 years old, he got the 3 Tomoe in both eyes. He's pretty much mastered the 3 Tomoe Sharingan. So he can activate it, and he can close it. So he practically he has a mastery of the Sharingan, basically. So Yuno and Asta be sparring, but Asta be so when Asta and Yuno spar, Asta be throwing wind at Asta, and Asta be just blocking it casually, and Asta will land a punch on Yuno, sending him flying, and Yuno will be out for the count, can't find him more. So Asta would win on the daily basis with the Sharingan, and so yeah. So the priest will think when Asta is inside and Yuno is still training, the priest tells Asta that when he was a baby, when he found him on the doorstep and brought him in, there was a note for Asta and the Uchiha crest pendant. So the priest gives Asta the note. Asta reads the note, and the note says, "Hey, my son, this is your mother and your father's writing this note. We don't have much time. This is our dying breath. We're sorry that we couldn't see you all grown up, and we're sorry that we died. We died fighting for the Clover Kingdom, and that you can have a safe future. We're sorry that we couldn't see you all grown up. But we have, if you want to learn more about us, go to our house. Our house is close by Hodge Village. It's not close by Hodge Village, it's close by the capital, in between the capital and Hodge Village, by a river, a beautiful, beautiful river. You'll find our house. Everything you'll need to know is there. Draw your blood from on the doorstep, on this passageway, so that you can get inside the house. All you have to do is draw your blood, and it'll know that you're an Uchiha. You are Asta Uchiha. You are a noble. We are from a noble family. Everything you need to know is in the house. Remember, you are Asta Uchiha, our beloved son." And that'll be the end of the letter. Asta would be crying because he never knew his parents still, but he wants to know more about his parents. So Asta says, I'll go to the mansion and see if I have any valuables there, so I can learn more about my family and more about my power. And so yeah. So Asta would say that he'll be leaving in 2 days. So Asta would pack up because it takes a week to get there. So time skip to 2 days forward. Asta would be saying bye to the church and all the orphans there. And Asta would be very, very close to the orphans there and sit by Sister Lily and the priest. But he doesn't have a crush on Sister Lily, so yeah. So Asta says goodbyes to Yuno and everybody else at the Hodge Village in the church. So while Asta is walking, it's pretty much a safe trip. No bandits come to attack him or anything. So while Asta gets there, it takes him about a week to get there. It goes along the countryside, and while he gets there, he sees a house. He sees a huge house, and he says, "I wonder if that's the mansion that my parents left behind for me." So he gets to the gates of the mansion, and there's a high-tech seal that no one can break in. Not even the Wizard King can break in. Not even demon magic. So to keep out bandits trying to break inside the house, only people with Uchiha blood can get inside the house. So Asta puts his blood on the key place where he's supposed to draw his blood, so that the gate can open. Asta opens up the gate, and he puts his blood on there, and the gates open, and it's pretty. The outside of the place is pretty beautiful. And for the past 7 years, the place has been. It was a magic. A spell was cast on the house so that it can never get dusty, can never be dirty, and like outside was all clean and stuff. So when Asta's walking around, he says, "Wow, so this is my parents' mansion. Mine's practically my mansion now." So Asta's looking around and he's pretty amazed. And so once he gets inside of the house has all different types of stuff in there, like all types and types of values. And he sees the Uchiha crest. He says, "So that's my crest, family crest." And he sees pictures of his parents and his mom and his grandpa and grandma, but they're not alive no more. They passed away a couple years ago. So Asta would be, this is pretty cool. And Asta would go inside. The letter said go inside of their family, go inside of the guest room. Go inside of the letter said go inside of their parents' room, and in there he would see a note saying, "I see, so if you're in here, Asta, all you have to do, all your stuff will be in here, your clothes and everything." So Asta would go inside of his closet, and he'll find the closet. He find the room. The closet would have everything in there. He have all his clothes, and Asta likes these clothes, but he won't be fitting these clothes soon. But he has some clothes that'll fit him. So he takes the clothes that'll fit him, and he puts the clothes inside of his bag, so that he can wear. And they have the Uchiha crest on there, and so yeah. The Uchiha family was pretty family. They were a family of nobles that specialized in chakra. They didn't have magic, but they had chakra that was very, very unique. And people were scared of them for how strong they were. A family that were capable of their eyes turning red and having 3 dots in the middle on each side, and people feared them from other kingdoms too. That's how famous they were. They were even more famous than the Silva family and the Vermilion family too. So while Asta's walking around the house, he would go inside the armory room where he would see some armor, and the armor that's in there, he would see the Uchiha armor. The armor would be just like Madara's armor, all red, but it'll be too big. But a note beside, put the armor on, and the armor will go onto your size. So Asta puts the armor on, and the armor is a little bit too big, but the armor shrinks down to Asta's size, and Asta says, "Wow, this is so cool. The armor goes down to my size." So Asta keeps the armor and keeps walking, and he sees a sword. He takes the sword, and so that it's a katana. So he wields the sword, and it's pretty sharp too. So Asta finds some scrolls. He finds his family scrolls that have talks about more about their power and abilities. So while Asta's reading, it says the Uchiha techniques, chakra, etc., etc., etc. So Asta reads it, and it says it has jutsu in there, and it has the hand signs. It says Fireball Jutsu, Fireball Phoenix Flower Jutsu, Majestic Destroyer Flame, and it talks about the Sharingan. And so Asta says, so this is called the Sharingan. Wow. I never knew about this, so that's what my eyes are. The Sharingan. and I practically don't have magic. I have chakra. Well, that's strange, but okay. So Asta reads. So Asta reads and reads and reads, and he sees all types of jutsus: the flying Raijin, the Rasengan, the Shidori, and he sees he sees a he reads all these jutsu, and he says, I'm gonna learn all these jutsus, and I might even make my own jutsu in the future. Even since I'm 7 years old, I mastered my Sharingan, so I'll be able to master all these jutsu. And Asta has learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu as well. So yeah. So Asta would have all these jutsus, scrolls, and he'll learn it. So nobody can learn these jutsu because people don't have chakra, they have magic. So all these techniques, if somebody were to find these scrolls, they'll be practically useless for them because they don't have chakra. So Asta would take all these scrolls with them so that he can train with them at Hodge Village. But he would stay at the mansion for a little bit so he can train a little bit with the scrolls. So yeah, so Asta would find the scroll that says particularly about the Sharingan and how he can develop the Sharingan even more. So he would read about the Sharingan, and that the Sharingan, when the Sharingan activates on emotions. So Asta would say, so I practically awakened my Sharingan when was being hurt by that drunk guy. So that's how I awakened the Sharingan. And he'll talk about how the Sharingan there's 3 stages to the Sharingan: the 1 Tomoe, the 2 Tomoe, and the 3 Tomoe. Asta would say, I already got the 3 Tomoe, so yeah. And he would read more about the Sharingan and say, the Sharingan can copy jutsu, the Sharingan can copy other people's techniques, and can read the movements of people, and yeah, etc. And he'd see something called the Mangekyo Sharingan. He see the Mangekyo Sharingan. What's that? He'll read it, and it says the Mangekyo Sharingan is just like the Sharingan, but the Sharingan is different from the regular Sharingan. It gives the person a lot of power that it gives the user its own special abilities, such as the Susanoo and 2 other abilities that he can have, such as the Amaterasu and Amaterasu flame control, and Kotsumatsu Kamui and Kamui itself. Also read, it says, I wonder how I can awaken it. And also would read it, and it says, to awaken this dojutsu, you have to see a loved one die, or your family, or someone getting killed. Asta would say, what? And Asta would just forget about the Mangekyo Sharingan. Say, I don't wanna. To awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan, I don't think I even want to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan if it's just bad. So Asta would read on and read to what it looks like, another stage to the another stage of the Sharingan, the Rinnegan. Asta would read it and says, the Rinnegan. I hope it's not something as bad as the Mangekyo Sharingan. So Asta would read the Rinnegan. It says, the Rinnegan has 6 paths of pain: pull and push, almighty push, and almighty pull. the King of Hell, the Diva Path, and the Araka Path. And you can create a meteor from falling out of the sky, and etc. and etc. And it gives the person the ability to it gives the person a special ability, just like the Mangekyo Sharingan. And Asta would say, I wonder how to get this. And to get the Mangekyo Sharingan, you need Senju blood and Uchiha blood. The Senju were close related relatives to the Senju. They were cousins, but the Senjus died out ages ago. But Asta reads it says that the blood of the Senju, of the last Senju, the blood of a Senju is inside of the house and it's locked up. So Asta would go and he'll see a vial of blood, and Asta injects the Senju blood inside of him. Asta kind of feels weird, and Asta says, Asta feels kind of dizzy, and he falls down. He falls down on the bed and sleeps for an entire day. Asta wakes up and says, "What happened?" And Asta would say, "Oh yeah, I remember I injected myself with that Senju blood, I guess. And while I was reading all those scrolls, I learned everything about my family and about that I was a noble and everything." So Asta would say, "Oh, so I wonder if I got in the Rinnegan." So Asta would look inside of the mirror and sees no Rinnegan, says, "Oh, maybe I have to activate it." So Asta would activate his Sharingan, but his Sharingan will go to a 3 Tomoe Sharingan to the Mangekyo Sharingan. So Asta would be like, "Wait, what? How do I have the Mangekyo Sharingan? I didn't kill anybody, or I didn't see anybody die." So Asta would say, "It must have been from the Senju blood. So I can't just skip the Senju, the Rinnegan, so I activated the Mangekyo Sharingan. I must have the Rinnegan as well." So the Rinnegan it says that the Rinnegan takes a year to activate, so I might as well just train with the Mangekyo for now. And Asta's dad would have had the Mangekyo Sharingan, so Asta would be getting his eyes so that he won't go blind. So Asta's dad left him a note saying that if you overuse the Mangekyo Sharingan, you'll go blind. And to not go blind, you'll need somebody related to you eyes. So Asta would say, so Asta would switch out his eyes. So Asta would use his father's eyes, and Asta would get the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And so yeah, if you guys want to see part 2, I'll be ending it here. If you guys want to see part 2 to what if Asta was in Uchiha, get this video to 20 likes. That'll be the like goal. Like and subscribe. Peace.